Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. Shauna, if you want to let me know if you can hear me. Oh, great, perfect. All right. So I just want to let everyone know that we will be recording this presentation. So if you miss anything, it's okay. I'll be sending out the recorded webinar by the end of this week, so you'll have access to that. So thank you for everyone for joining me this morning. So if you don't know me, my name is Janae Cargill. I am the WCIF Wellness Director and Employee Liaison, and this is the Grant Program 101 webinar. So what we will go over today is why wellness programs, what types of benefits are that you get from wellness programs. And then I'll review the online grant application in full. And then we'll talk about what makes a wellness program successful. So what are the tools that you need in order to be successful when you are promoting your wellness initiatives with the employees? Okay. And please, if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to interrupt. You can raise your hand, you can speak, you can enter something into the chat. And then, of course, obviously, if you want to share your own internal activities you've done before, I know we have some people on the line who are very well seasoned in promotion of their wellness activities. And then I'm sure we have some people online who are new to it. Okay. So why employee wellness? Well, we want to improve our employees' physical and mental well-being. We want them to build healthier habits. We want to empower our employees and also make these employees successful within the teams within their organization. We want our employees to be happy and satisfied and feel motivated. That is the core of why wellness programs. So we have, as you know, we have our own wellness program through Sonic Boom, but it is essential for our employer groups to not just have participation in our wellness program, but have your own internal wellness activities that could encourage the employees to participate in our wellness program as well. Just having other areas outside of what we just provide is key to the success of your internal wellness program outside of WCIFs. So one study had indicated that at least 61% of employees agreed that they did make healthier lifestyle choices because of their employer's wellness program. So that is actual impact on the employees. So making those efforts to get employees engaged, they'll take that home with them, because if you're promoting it at work, you spend most of your time at work, more times than not, you're going to bring that home and you're going to continue those healthy habits, whatever those may be. Let's see here. Okay. So then I want to talk about benefits of a wellness program before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the online wellness grant application. There's lots of things that your employees can benefit from, and this all plays into their productivity at work. It reduces healthcare costs. It can improve your employees' morale. It can improve retaining those employees. If they're happy and healthy at work, they'll want to stay. It can reduce stress. That's the number one. That is the number one problem area that we see each year. Stress increases. Well, there's so many things that can lead to that stress. And these are the types of programs you want to create. So sleep ties into stress. You need to recharge your battery overnight. You need to take self-care. You have to take your breaks. Stress plays a huge role in our employees' productivity at work. It can increase employee engagement. It can encourage healthy behaviors. If you have some employees in your organization that are gung-ho wellness champions, that rubs off on the other employees. So if you see other employees creating behavior, healthy behaviors, or it's you, the one promoting your internal wellness activities, making a healthier habit, that's going to rub off on the employees that you serve. Another one improves teamwork. If you have happy, healthy employees, they're going to want to work more together, better together. It can provide a sense of accomplishment. Even just those little baby milestones, those little wins, that can make a huge change in your employees, and that does give them a self-accomplishment, big or small. And also it just brings employees together, and that's the big one there. You want to feel like your team is truly a team. Okay, so now I want to dig into the online application. So I'm going to start from the beginning here because I want to show you how to navigate through our website. So I'm sure a lot of you have been to our website, probably primarily the benefit side, but you also have a lot of wellness resources available to you as well. So let me just pull this up. Okay, so we're at WCIF.net, and at the right-hand corner here on this little menu bar, you want to go down to Live Well at WCIF. And then these tabs here, so you have an employees tab, and then you have an employers tab. There are similar communications within both of these tabs. The employers have more, so obviously the grant application is under here. Let me go there. Okay, so don't mind the 2023 activities. We are actually going to update that schedule today. But within the employer tab, you also have all of the other services available to you and your organization, our contests, our champion program, our For Your Benefit newsletter, our wellness program, which we're doing another webinar in February that will go over all of those things. So we hope you guys come back to hear about everything that WCI offers wellness-wise. So I'm going to click on the grant program and scroll down here. So first I want to let you know you have from now until April 30th to apply for a wellness grant. So you have plenty of time. We have some groups that like to start off the year and kick off, January 1, they have a full-on yearly wellness plan. Or if you need to take some time, or if it's, the first quarter is really busy for you and your employees, it's okay. You can promote it later on in the year. So let me click on the application here. Okay. So I'm not going to read every single thing within this application. I just want to give you the basics. There's a lot of information in here, so I don't want that to deter you from not applying, because it's actually can be a very simple process, but I want to highlight a few things as we walk through this. So we have regulations with the application. There's the purpose of why you're applying for the wellness grant program. Obviously, the well-being of our employees. Then there's employer responsibility. What is your responsibility? So it's creating your healthy initiatives for the employees. It is tracking progress on your end. Are these activities really working for the employees? What do we need to change next year when we apply for a grant? It also talks about your responsibility with promoting the WCIF Wellness Program through Sonic Boom. So that's the key thing, is if you apply for a grant, you are also agreeing to promote and communicate the WCIF Wellness Program through Sonic Boom, which we make it easy for you because Shauna and I create all the communications for you that you can just push out to the employees. And then, as I mentioned before, there's an employee resource center, and I can go back to that when we're done with the application process. The other thing I want to say that I forgot to mention in the beginning, this is a reimbursement program. So when you apply for a wellness grant, you purchase the items up front and then we reimburse on the back end. But what I will say is the reimbursement process can be fairly quick. We have an ACH option, or you can receive paper check. But if it's ACH, obviously that's right away. You get your funds back. If it's paper check, you can expect your check in about a week or so. Okay, so any questions at this time before I move forward? Okay, don't see any hands raised. All right, great. So this is our employer grant fund structure, and this is by group size. So you can see there's different classes. There's 5 different classes, and you can see based off of how many employees you have, and that'll tell you how much monies can be awarded to your organization. So like for WCIF, we have under 10 employees, so we're in that class 1. However, if you apply for a grant, you're approved, then your group earns at least, earns the medical premium discount reward. Then our way of saying thank you is you can apply for more funding. So let's say it's your first year, you're under the 10 employees, say, all right, great, $500 right off the bat, you're awarded that. You can come back next year and say, you know what, I want to apply for $1,000. And it's not that you'll be approved that $1,000. It's obviously it's due to our budget, how much we have available in the budget. But you are definitely guaranteed to at least get additional funding outside of this class structure if you earn that, that group medical premium reduction. So really I say reach for the stars, because at the end of the grant application period, so by April 30th, if we still have funds in the budget, we may award you additional dollars. So please keep that in mind. Okay. Let's see. So some criteria for WCIF approved wellness program. Now, this language is a little bit outdated, but it's typical of cholesterol education and screening, blood pressure education checks, physical activity programs, mental health improvement, weight management. These are all pretty standard things. But when I am promoting the wellness grant program, really think outside of the box. And I mean, there are so many things outside of just the small list of examples that are important to an employee's well-being. But obviously we want to reduce health risks, but there's many ways you can achieve that, and that will lend into some of these other things, lend into their healthy weight management, good blood pressure checks, good cholesterol levels and whatnot. Okay, so now we'll get down to the regulations. Like I said, I'm not going to read every single one, but I just want to give you the gist of what's expected in your role if you are approved for WCIF Wellness Grant. So as I mentioned before, number 1 rule is you have to promote the WCIF Wellness Program through Sonic Boom. 2, we talk about reimbursement. I talked about that a little bit, but it's pretty standard. We have a reimbursement request form, and I'll review that form with you guys after the application. But we have an online request form, super easy to use. You have to attach any receipts for purchasing items for your internal wellness activities. You have to list who prize winners are. If you are purchasing things for all of the employees, it's not necessarily a competition, it's more of just a well-being type activity. Let's say you have an all-staff day and you're really turning that into an event, an appreciation type thing. You might want to get some items for all the employees as a token of your appreciation. And then, let's see. Yeah, so pretty standard for reimbursement. Receipts, tell us, why you're submitting the receipts, what activity it was tied to, and what the total amount that you want to get reimbursed. Let's see. Okay, I'm just scrolling through here. So I talked about ACH checks, paper checks. One thing we cannot do is you can have, let's say you don't have an organizational credit card, and just one of the employees is purchasing items on their personal card and they're submitting for reimbursement. So you as the employer, you can reimburse that employee, but WCIF cannot reimburse the employee. We can only reimburse the organization. So that's important to keep in mind. Okay, we have a chat here from Carrie. Is it better to keep our initial application within the funding range according to the size of our agency, or should we put additional requests in front in case you're able to offer us more later? Yes. So Carrie's question was, should we just stick within the fund structure? So going back to the fund structure, or put in those additional dollars in the case that you may be rewarded additional fundings? Yes. So you want to put in the additional funding. However, make sure that the activities that you are putting in your grant application are within that initial fund structure. And the other activities will really be in addition. You just want to make sure you have enough money for the core things you want to do within your program. Hopefully that answered your question, Carrie. Let me know if you need further clarification on that. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so back to the grant application. Okay, so obviously we can deny your request for reimbursement. That really rarely happens. So just clear, transparent communication with me on items, just to give me more information. I might come back to you and say, hey, I need this extra piece, or you're missing this. But I will never just say, no, we're not paying for this, unless actually, let me give you an example. We had a group, I'm not gonna out who it was because I'm sure they're on this call, but there was one thing that we cannot reimburse for is, let's say you're purchasing something at the grocery store, like some healthy fruits and vegetables. You're just gonna provide it for the staff. And when you're paying, the little payment screen will say, do you want to donate to this organization? We cannot reimburse for donations. So just putting that out there. So please be mindful of that, because I know it's everywhere now, and someone like me donates to practically everybody, even if it's just $1 or so. But anyways, be mindful of that. We can't reimburse for the donation, and it was just a small amount anyway, so it wasn't a huge deal. But that's really the only case where we're like, no, we can't approve that. And then let's see, use of grant funds. So going down to B, when we're talking about rewards. So some organizations, I know they cannot provide gift cards. They have to go like the gift basket way or something. They're limited, but we're limited to a degree as well. So if you are using gift cards, we ask that you limit that to $100 max. Now, it's not to say you can't give multiple gift cards to the same employee, because there's going to be different challenges. And if you have a small organization, you're going to have these repeat participants that may receive more prizes versus a larger organization. So just keep the prizes at 100 max, but it's okay if you give multiple prizes of the $100, if that makes sense. Okay, and then C, volunteering. You cannot pay someone to volunteer. That's I think that's a given. You can, let's see. Okay, let's go to repurpose of grant funds. Repurpose of grant funds. So this is a very flexible program. So let's say you apply for a grant today, I approve it, you come back to me later in the year, you just say, Janae, this happened, we can't do this activity, we want to do something else. More times than not, I'm like, yeah, do it. Because that's just life, you guys. Even with WCIF, our own wellness grant program, life happens, things come up, you're not able to do what you had planned, and you just have to rearrange some things, and that's totally fine. So if you want to change up your activities, because you might discover something down the line that you're like, wow, this would be better use of our time, better use of the employees' time, let's do this instead. Just send me an email. But you have to get that approved by me first before you start purchasing items. I have to have that change documented in your individual employer file. Okay, and then the deadline we talked, oh no, this is different, I'm sorry, we didn't talk about this. The deadline for submitting requests for reimbursement. So for some of you more seasoned grant appliers, this is a newer change as of last year. So instead of having until January to submit for reimbursement, you now have till November 30th of this year, not January 25. So what that means is you have to submit reimbursement by this date, November 30th. However, you can still carry on with your activities into December, however long you want, but I have to have that reimbursement by November 30th. And you can submit the reimbursement as you purchase items, as you complete an activity, or you can do it all at the end of November. Not a fan of that because that's a lot of documentation to go through, not just for you, not just for me, but it's totally fine. It's whatever works for you, really. So as you go, all at the end, it's up to you. Okay, and I already, let's see, yeah, I already mentioned the disclaimer basically, and that was all just that you could be awarded additional funding. Okay, so now let's get to the actual application, how we fill this thing out. Okay, so just your contact information, employer information, your address, who your wellness committee chair is. So the wellness committee chair will be the person that I and Shauna will be communicating with. This is the person that is responsible for basically delegating tasks within your own wellness team. And then you can list your wellness committee members. And then there's a nice little button here so you can add as many committee members as you want. So a lot of what I will say is having a wellness committee in place is huge because you are only one person. You can't be everywhere. You can't be doing everything. And however, I know that there are cases where there's just no option but you being the wellness committee. Counties, hospitals, they have more departments, so they'll have more committee members to service each department. But so if you have wellness committee, that's fine. You don't, that's okay too. But I strongly encourage you to try to develop some type of committee. And that can be, I mean, these are people that are already invested in their own well-being. So it comes natural to them. It might be fun for them, but you have to allow these committee members time to not only create activities that you want to put on for the employees, but also allowing them time, and this is company time I'm talking about, to promote and encourage the employees to participate in activities. So that means going to each department or whatever means to get the message across. Okay, wellness mission statement. This can be simple. You don't need to write a book. I don't need that. I just need to know simply why do you want to incorporate wellness into the workplace? It can be simple. It can be areas that you want to focus on. It can be happy and healthy employees. You can even go to Google and you can Google a sample wellness mission statement. That's okay. It's hard sometimes to start from scratch, and it's good to get examples from other organizations out there. I would encourage you guys to even check out, there's a lot of colleges within, well, actually over the United States, but more primarily look in Washington, at Washington colleges. They tend to share their wellness initiatives for students. I mean, you can get some really good ideas out there. And then also you can network with each other. That's huge. I'll use this time to promote our benefits summit. We have our annual benefits summit coming up in May, which you guys will see a registration email for that in the next coming week or so. But that's a great place to network and share your wellness ideas. So just putting that out there. Okay, so wellness mission statement, short and sweet, perfect. Want to make it a book? That's fine. I'm going to read all of it. Then you want to list your health targets. So some of the more standard ones is nutrition, physical activity, stress management. Those are like the three big ones. And those are the categories that WCIF grants, our own internal grant for our employees, we have used. But maybe there's other areas that you really want to focus on. Is it employee safety? Is it sleep? It's whatever you want to work on, whatever target works to receive the outcome that you are looking for with the employees. Okay, I just got to chat. Are there barriers, legal considerations around chiro incentives? So are you talking about chiropractic incentives? Can you give me a little more context? So when you say barriers, like when you say what types of incentives, are you saying if people go to the chiropractic, you're encouraging them to go and then you incentivize them for getting?
Yeah, I just know that there's a lot of people with, back issues. I know that's only one solution to back issues, but we do have a chiropractor in our small community here. So I was wondering if there were people that have, focused around back health and stretches and used like a chiropractic coupon as an incentive prize for people going to these sessions.
Oh, I see. Okay. So this is a new one for me, Jennifer, but this brings up a good question. To my knowledge, there is not. But what you can do, because you do have chiropractic under our medical plans. So if, let's say, someone did have a chiropractic appointment and they showed proof that wasn't necessarily, it didn't really have any identifiable information for you, but you could, if they are paying out of pocket though for their appointment, you could reimburse. But that, yeah, that's a little challenging. That's a new one for me. I have to think more on that, Jennifer. But off the top of my head, I would say it's fine because it's really the consent of the employee. That shouldn't put anything on the group, but let me do a little research for you, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let me just make a quick note here. Okay. All right. Okay. Health targets. Okay. Wellness program integration and promotion. So here you are just going to describe how are you going to get your employees engaged? What are your tactics for promoting your internal wellness initiatives, and as well as the WCIF wellness program through Sonic Boom. And that could be you have an internal newsletter, you have boards where you post important information that the employees can see. You are promoting during staff meetings, or maybe you have a safety meeting and you want to combine that with a wellness meeting for the employees. Just tell me how you plan to get the information out. Okay, next, so proposal of grant funded activities. So this is where you're going to tell me what the activity is, what you believe the activity will cost, and just a brief explanation of what the activity is. So you can have as many activities as you want. Maybe you're starting out small this year. Maybe this is your first time applying for a wellness grant. So you want to keep it simple because you're just getting your toes wet. That's fine. And what I usually tell our groups is, if you're starting out small, let's just start with the wellness program completion in Sonic Boom. So the employees have, if they earn their first $25 in Sonic Boom, that is going to count towards the employer group as a whole earning an approximate 4% premium discount on their monthly bill in 25. And the minimum of participation from employees is 40%. So these are eligible employees. So the employees that are enrolled into WCIF medical plan, if they earn their first $25 within Sonic Boom, that counts towards earning your group incentive. But you need at least 40% of those eligible employees to earn their first $25. Okay, so maybe you want an activity that's tied to that. Say, okay, so figure out, okay, how many employees, what's 40% of my employees? How many gift cards would you would need for that? And you can set out communication. The first so many employees that earn their first $25 in Sonic Boom will give you a gift card, whether that's $20, $25. That's a very simple activity to start with if it's your first year, if you're fresh and brand new. But then we have more seasoned grant application. We have more seasoned groups with their internal wellness activities. They've been doing it for years, so they already kind of have an idea of what they want to focus on in the next year. So they might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 activities listed here. One thing I would say, try not to pile on so much on your plate that you won't even get around to really utilizing those grant funds, because this actually happens every year. It's even happened to us. Like I said, with the repurposing of grant funds, sometimes you're just not able to get to any of those activities. So make sure you're planning activities that you can fully promote, you can execute those activities. Just don't make it hard on yourself. And that's also the importance of having a wellness committee, because you have people to do it for you. You're not doing everything. Okay. And then if you need to provide additional files once you've entered in your activities, you can do that here. We have some groups that it's fine, they just fill out the application. But then we have some groups who they want to put their full plan out there, which I love, because I love to read the full scope of what you plan to do for your employees. And then just tell us how you want to receive your payment. Do you want ACH or do you want a paper check? So if you elect ACH, I'll make sure that we send our ACH form to you, and then our finance manager can pay you your money back. And then you just sign, and you'll have your committee members sign. If you have committee, it's just entering your name. You don't have to actually put a signature in there, but that is your signature, just entering your name. And then you'll submit it. But what you need to remember is, please save this application before you submit. If you accidentally submit before you save the application, no problem. You can reach out to myself or Shauna Zuzi Cobb, my wellness partner in crime, and we can send you a copy of your application. It's going to look funky because the way we receive it is a little different, but we can definitely send you a copy so you have that on file. Okay, and so once you submit, you have typically you'll receive a status from me, whether you're approved or not, within the first week. Might even be the same day. It just depends on my workload, but it could be up to a max of 2 weeks before you hear anything back. It just depends on when I can get to it, but my priority is to get to it right away because I want you to get approved and start purchasing items so you can start promoting your wellness activities. Okay. So before we move on from the online form, is there any questions you have related to the form that I can answer for you? Okay, you don't see anything coming in, but obviously if you have questions in the meantime as you're putting the application together, you can just reach out to me with any questions. Shauna can be very helpful too. Let's see. Oh.
Hey, yeah. Janae, this is Carrie Pettit. I just have a quick question. I was trying to type it, but I'm not typing fast enough. When you mentioned saving the application before we submit it, is it clear on the website how to do that? How do you do that?
No, it is not clear on the website. Good question. So let me see. So you can save as from here, you can print, and it'll save as a PDF.
Oh, great. Perfect. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. All right, if there isn't any other questions, I'm going to move back to our presentation here. Oh, where is it? There we go. Okay. So now I just want to briefly go over what makes a wellness program effective. So what is it that you guys need to do that's going to make your wellness initiative successful? One is messaging and communication. This is key to the success of anything that you do. Try to summarize your goals, but summarize them into digestible measurements. So small, okay? We talked about those small goals, those small wins. Those are huge and they add up. Make it clear to the employees what the wellness benefits are and how taking part in those wellness activities can help them. You want to spread the word across all levels. So as I mentioned before, let's say you're a county and you are split up into various departments. You want to reach every single department. And better yet, if you have those middle managers, have them be a part of your wellness committee and have them be the ones responsible to push out that message. That's a great way to do it. But that has to happen in order for a successful wellness program. Next, work on creating and spreading a culture of care, trust, and understanding. So employees will receive wellness programs with open arms typically if you have these three things. And it also makes them feel that their employer is sincere. Next, align your wellness program with two things. So what are the real needs of your team and what are their core values? So I always encourage our groups to survey the employees, send out an email before you even start putting together activities, because you want to promote activities ones that actually reach to the team members, things they'll actually want to do, but you'll also want to get from them, okay, but what are the things you like? So if we incentivize you, let's say we do have some friendly competition type activities, then you want to make it attractive for them. So ask them what they'd like. And everyone is different. Some people like gift cards. Some people like getting reimbursed for some self-care type activities. Like we have one group who reimburses for someone who went to a comedy show or someone who went to a baseball game, paid, the reimbursement helped with their gym membership, any type of self-care thing. But yeah, those are two important things. Survey the employees. Next, productivity reports speak louder than progress reports. So you want to keep an eye on the results of these type of activities. How were the employees receptive with them? What could be changed next year? Is this an activity we want to do again next year? Maybe it was really popular. They loved it. Bring it back. But also change up other things outside of that one activity. But it's measure the right KPI, so the key performance indicators. What are your targets for your team? What are the milestones on how you want to gauge progress that could better help the people across your organization? Next, use new tools to measure workplace wellness statistics and intangibles like mood, trust, and happiness. There are some really great, impressive tools that can make this simple. And I have a link here. So when I send a copy of this presentation along with the recording, you'll be able to get a link to this this very helpful website I found, workhuman.com. They have from start to finish employee wellness program information, not just to help you, but to help engage the employees. It's a wealth of information, so I encourage you to check it out. And then finally, celebrate milestones and those small wins that I talked about. Success is a marathon, it's not a race. So that's important to remember. And this will keep you and your employees committed to your wellness goals and for further development. So I want to go back to our website and we'll get out of the application here. And I just want to go back to that resource center, because when you're promoting the Live Well program, it's going to be very helpful for you and the employees. So we're going back to Live Well. Now we're going to click on the employees page. So all the communications are here for your employees. The employee flyer on how they access the program. We have a Live Well FAQ, so you can get the full nitty-gritty of the WCIF Wellness program. We have a new user guide, which is perfect for new hires if you want to put it in their packet of information. Some other helpful things tied to Sonic Boom, compatible fit devices, the Sonic Boom mobile app, there's a QR code there, and then also an information on the types of rewards through Tango. Tango is our reward provider for the electronic gift cards. Okay, and I'm gonna go back because I want to get into the employer side. Like I said, this activity schedule will be updated, so don't worry about that one. Let me go back to the grant program. Okay, so I said I was going to show you guys the request for reimbursement. So let me click on that. Okay, so this is an online form as well. Same thing with this. You want to save it if you want a copy of it, but you might want the copy that I've approved, has all my markings on it, so you can see why certain questions have been raised and whatnot. So just, you can request that from me or you can request it from Shauna. Happy to send that over to you if you don't save a copy. But basically you just tell me a brief explanation of the expense. So let's say you had a step challenge, say spring step challenge, put in the amount that you paid. So the total amount of receipts for this activity, the cost that went to it. and then drop a file of your receipts. So simple as that. And then also, as a reminder, you have to also submit names of participants, their first and last name, if they were awarded a prize. We have to have that on file. And so you just fill that out. Let's get to the bottom. And then you put the total amount to be reimbursed here. And then we need you to sign and fill out the contact information here and submit. And as I said early on in the presentation, if ACH, if you do it that way, you get your funds right away. If you prefer paper check, you'll get it in about a week or so. So the reimbursement timeline, it could be fairly quick. Or if you're like, Janae, I need it like right now, that will make it happen. So whatever you need, just get a hold of me, we'll work it out. Okay. And then I just want to remind you that the reimbursement process is up to you. You can reimburse as you purchase items, as you complete activities, or you can do it all at the end of the year. Whatever works best for you. And let's see, let's go back to my presentation here. So before we adjourn here, I just want to open it up. Are there any questions related to the application process, types of ideas for activities? Oh, that's one thing I didn't show you. I apologize. Let me go back to our website. Let me go back to LiveWell. Okay. All right. Employers grant program. Oh, we don't have it here. We need to put it there. So Sean and I will put this here. We actually have a guide for sample or ideas for wellness activities. So we have 4 different categories. We have one for nutrition. We have one for stress management. We have one category for physical activity. And then we have a category for program support. So I will be sure to add that document when I send out the recorded video, and then we'll also get it put on the website so it's easily accessible for you. Okay, so let me go back to what I was saying. Are there any questions in regards to the application? Are there any wellness activities that you have done in the past that you want to share, or any other questions you might have in general? Okay, let's see. Let's see, Amber, before COVID, Vivacity and WCIF used to host biometric clinics. That's something we can look forward to in the future. Great question, Amber. We get asked this question every year. So on-site biometric clinics are still at the top of my list because this was a great option for our groups. This was a service that was paid by WCIF, and I would coordinate with Vivacity on-site biometric clinics for you folks. And so the employees, it can be on-site at your workplace. The employees can get their blood pressure checked. They get their cholesterol levels checked, their BMI, which I don't put a lot of thought into BMIs, to be honest. But it's great information, and some of them can be life-saving. You know, we had a group where this person's blood pressure was so high they had to call an ambulance, and this person went to the hospital. So for those people who don't regularly get their annual checks, an on-site clinic can be life-saving, really, and it can help you start taking preventive measures. So yes, it is still on my list to bring those back. And the reason we haven't brought those back yet is because the on-site clinics have changed so much from when we used to participate in those. The cost is higher. The minimum participation of employees is higher. So basically, I think it's up to like 50 now. You have to have at least 50 employees agree to get a screening before they'll let you even have an on-site clinic. And another thing that is difficult for us, for WCIF, is before, when you got an on-site screening, that's considered a preventive benefit, and so that's covered by your medical plan. But the admin fee would go through Vivacity, our wellness consultants, and so they would be able to directly work with our medical carriers to process those claims. Well, the medical carriers are no longer doing that, so that's another reason why it's difficult for WCIF to make these happen again. But I still bring it up every year to our wellness consultants. I'm still looking out there to see what other options are. I do know, at least for Kaiser Permanente, I have to check with Primera, but Kaiser Permanente, they do have a on-site clinic that they work with, but they don't process claims. So if you're able to use grant funds towards something like that, you could use that. There's also another option is, I'm trying to think, I believe it's the Washington State Health Department. They have, it's called a care van, so care-a-van. And you can have preventive, they'll bring a van to your location and do screenings. I don't believe the screenings are as invasive as ours were. I think it's a blood pressure check. I don't know if they do the finger prick for the cholesterol levels and glucose, but I do know that there's a lot of services through Care-a-Van in Washington State. So I would encourage you guys to check that out. I know they also do flu shots as well. So, and they favor, the service favors groups like you guys. So our government workers, nonprofits and whatnot. So yeah, sorry, Amber. Hopefully we can bring that in the future, bring that back. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for your time today. And I know this is quite a bit of information, but I promise you the process is easy. And if you have any questions along the way, please reach out. Or if you'd like me to come meet with you with your full wellness committee, I'm doing that with some of our groups between the months of February and March. So if you'd like me to come on site and do a thorough training with your wellness committee, I'm happy to do that as well. Okay, well, we've got a little bit of time back to us. Jennifer, I'm going to get back to you on the question regarding chiropractic, so give me a little bit of time for that. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate you coming on the call, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and you'll receive that recording before the end of the week, okay? All right, have a great one, guys.